TV. Our weather for today. The weatherman, I'm afraid, is saying 100% chance of rain. Right now, it's dry. 78 degrees, very mild. The wind only 6 miles an hour. Humidity is extremely high. Oklahoma has won the toss, and unlike they did in last week's opener, they gobbled up the football on that one. Today, they have deferred. Are you a little surprised?
Well, I'm not surprised because I know Bob Stoops wants this young quarterback, Kirby Freeman of Miami, to see the defense that he's going to roll out there. So a little different strategic-wise, but I think it has everything to do with momentum and try to shake that quarterback early.
Garrett Hartley prepares to kick it off to Ryan Hill or Richard Gordon, the two deep men for the Hurricanes. Here's the kick, good high and long. Going to come down at the goal line, taken by Hill. 20, 25, and out over the 30-yard line. And let's go down to the sideline. Here's Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy?
Thank you, Ron. Much attention and focus on Randy Shannon's difficult and heartbreaking background this week. I asked him prior to the ball game, how does that prepare you as a head coach? He said, Jimmy, I can look every player in the eye and tell them you cannot let your past control the present. The present right now for Miami football is trying to get back to the elite status. No one knows it better than Randy Shannon, having been a part of 3 national titles as a player and a coach. They must start winning big games to get back to that level. Randy Shannon beat Oklahoma as a player, and Ron, you know that he knows this is a big one.
James is the lone setback. Play action, though. They're going to go long on top. Play number 1. It is intercepted by Oklahoma.
Well, they're going to talk about it. The field judge said incomplete. The back judge, I believe, ruled it as an interception, and those are the two guys who are talking about it right now.
Leggett, the intended receiver. Marcus Walker came away with the football.
No, he didn't catch it.
No,
that
he
ball
didn't.
hit the ground. Yeah. No, they should review this. This is not an interception. That ball went right down on the ground. And it looked to me that Marcus Walker got away with a little tugging on that one. But yeah, they're going to have to review this. This is not an interception. What a nice start, though. Patrick Nix. Randy Shannon, one of his first hires, was going to get Patrick Nix from Georgia Tech, and he goes for it, taking advantage, Ron, of that aggressive defense. Watch the ball as it drops. You'll see it on the belly of Walker. Right there, hits the ground, not an interception. So this will get overturned. Now, the key for Miami, Ron, is they're all amped up. They almost hit a big one, settled down. Now you just have 2nd and 10. You just have to go back like it's the beginning of the game.
So this is not going to take very long to review, but what they're going to have to do is reset. The ball's got to come all the way back down. Here we go. Here's the call.
Review. The ruling on the field is reversed. Incomplete pass. 2nd down.
And
so now the defense and offenses have to switch again.
And that is one of the reasons I'm a big fan of instant replay. I mean, talk about a huge turn of events. Had that been, if we didn't have instant replay, that would have been a shame for Miami because the ball simply was not intercepted.
How much does it get the attention of the defensive coaches with them going on top on the very first play also?
And, you know, Brent Venables yesterday, the defense coordinator, we met them, said Miami didn't show us anything against Marshall. We expect to see a whole different offense here today, and they saw it early with the play action.
Kirby Freeman, obviously, with an audible. Gives it to James. Going to have 5 yards and then 6. Let's take a look at the starters on offense. Here is Gino Torretta.
The starting offense for my Miami Hurricanes. At quarterback from Brownwood, Texas, Kirby Freeman, a 6'3" junior who can beat you with his arm or his legs. He's joined in the backfield by Javaris James, a.k.a. Baby J, cousin of former Miami and current NFL great Edgar and James. Up front, our offensive line is anchored by a true sophomore from Fort Worth, Texas, Jason Fox. Coach Shannon expects big strides from our offense this week in their first road test.
Thanks, Gino. 3rd down play, and the pass is thrown short.
Well, Patrick Nix that time showing a lot more offense than he did against Oklahoma. And Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator, said, we expect to see that. That time, the receiver slipped coming back, and Kirby Freeman couldn't quite get it out there. They had it set up well, though, Ron. I think they could have picked up the first had their receiver not slipped.
This is Matt Bosher, a freshman out of Jupiter, Florida. Reggie Smith, the deep man. Very high kick, not very long. And the ball is going to be touched dead at the 24. Now let's take a look at the Oklahoma offensive starters. Here's Toby Keith.
Hey, Toby Keith here, Boomer Sooner, here to introduce Bob Stoops' head ball coaches. Starting offensive line at quarterback, redshirt freshman Sam Bradford had an absolute excellent game last week. Look for more out of him today. He's going to be throwing to all-everything junior receiver Malcolm Kelly, best hands in America. And we got this gigantic offensive lineman. He's a guard. We call him Big Duke Robinson, 6'5", 352. Come get some.
Well, and that's really, you know, Ron, last year.
False start, 71 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, they already got one of those big fellas, Trent Williams, early on, getting the start today. But the offensive line for Bob Stoops last year was a huge question, so young. And they really gelled at the end of the season and took them to the Big 12 championship. Now all of those guys back, and most of them are still juniors.
That's it. They're all sophomores and juniors. And it's almost the same way on the defensive side of the ball. Joe John Finley and Brody Eldridge, two tight end alignment. They go with the running play, big opening. And that's Alan Patrick, who is going to take it out to around the 28. Let's take a look at the starters defensively for the Miami Hurricanes.
The starting defense for my Miami Hurricanes. It all starts up front with the 6', 8" Ted Hendricks-like defensive end from Aurora, Colorado, Calais Campbell. The linebacking core led in the middle by a senior from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Tavares Gooden. And in the backfield from Carroll City High School in Miami, we have one of the best safeties in the nation in Kenny Phillips. At cornerback, a future star and true freshman, DeMarcus Van Dyke from Miami's Pace High School. Defense is Coach Shannon's specialty, and this unit should get it done.
Completed pass as Sam Bradford picks up where he left off from last week, where he had only 2 incomplete passes. This one going to Iglesias.
Well, Bradford was not named the starter until they got well into camp. Of course, he was battling junior Joey Halsley and Keith Nicola, true freshman with a lot of potential. But to me, this is exactly why he got this. Ron, this is close to going the distance. If that tackle is not made by Randy Phillips, Iglesias may take it to the house. No safety at home.
From the 42-yard line, flag is down, has 5, has 10, counted off at 13 yards. Kenny Phillips comes up to make the tackle, and now let's see if this marker is against the offense or the defense. Hendricks was moving at the line of scrimmage, and I don't know if he penetrated the neutral zone. It is going to be against Miami.
Offsides against the defense. The penalties decline. Results of the play is first down.
Alan Patrick is he's about 85%, Ron. He had that right ankle sprain, did not play against North Texas, was injured at the end of last year against Oklahoma State and ran very well. So Randy Shannon's got his hands full with a good running game so far.
DeMarco Murray, number 7, checks in at tailback for the Sooners. Gain of 14 on that last play. Quick out pass to Jermaine Gresham, a talented young sophomore out of Ardmore, Oklahoma. And now here is today's X Factor, presented by Citi.
Well, the reason that Randy Shannon got the head job, and I think he should have, was because of his great work as a defensive coordinator. They have been absolutely dominant against the run. The only school over the last season, beginning of this season, to go over 100 yards was UVA, and that was with a couple of busted quarterback runs. Last year, one of the best in the country against the run. So far early, we're seeing Alan Patrick finding pretty big holes.
Now Chris Brown checks back into the ball game at tailback. So the Sooners using a fresh tailback on virtually every play. He'll be stopped after a gain of 1 as Randy Phillips steps up strong into the hole to make the tackle. Oklahoma really showing a good mixture early, though. Not just with the running backs, but the quick passes.
And that's what we saw. You know, we looked at the film of North Texas. Remember that first drive? 4 plays, 4 wide receiver screens going down the field for a touchdown, because that's what North Texas was giving them. Kevin Wilson, the offensive coordinator, really likes this young man, Sam Bradford, because of the way he controls the game. He doesn't get too excited. It's a lot like what we saw with Josh Freeman last week from Kansas State. Just a very settled down young man for a freshman.
DeMarco Murray comes in the ball game at tailback, replacing Chris Brown. Quick pass. 30 down to the 28-yard line. Manuel Johnson, the junior out of Gilmer, Texas. He had a great preseason. Came into this location as a running back, and they have made a very good wide receiver out of it.
And he can throw it, too. They'll do a reverse for Johnson, and he can throw it. Right now, Ron, Miami, I think, has to bring their defensive backs up. Oklahoma is showing that they're not going to have to go deep very much if you're going to give them a cushion. They're going to have to step up and get in the face of these wide receivers because of those screens.
Second down, they need to take it to the 23. This is Murray. Hit at the 25, but he fights his way forward very close to the first down at the 23. Kenny Phillips again.
Yep, and now we're getting the weather, Ron. That 100% came true. And it's coming down pretty hard. This, I think, favors Oklahoma.
Do you? Why?
Yeah, I think because of their running game and their ability for the quick passes. They don't have to make a lot of deep throws, and they have so many explosive wide receivers. I think the footing for the secondary of Miami will start to slip, and as long as they can keep the ball relatively dry, I think this helps Bradford.
This is the 8th play of the drive. It all started back at the Oklahoma 23-yard line. Timeout called by Oklahoma. So we'll take a break. No score, but the Sooners are threatening. 10:45 left to play in this opening quarter.
BC.